Hey guys, what's going on? Basin here, and welcome to another video in our Ramble review series. I hope you are enjoying this whole series because I certainly am. I think it's a really cool way to give reviews of games, just raw and uncensored sort of thoughts on a game like this. It's really interesting. I've learned making these videos about what I like in games and what I don't like in games, and I'm excited today to talk about a game that is absolutely one of the indie gems I think of this year. It's one of the best games I've actually played this year. That's not hard because I really haven't played many games coming out in 2021, but hopefully the end of this year will be a banger full of all these great games, and I think it absolutely will. I think the end of this year is going to be really good in terms of games, and 2022 looks great. But today we are here to talk about Death's Door. And before we get into that, make sure you click the like button down below. Make sure you click subscribe. Not many of you are subscribed that are watching this video, so it would be really helpful if you could do so for me. Now let's get on to the review. So Death's Door, I didn't expect much coming into this game, to be honest. I heard people talk about it. One of my favorite podcasts to listen to is the Kind of Funny Games Cast. If you don't know who they are, they're a really great group of people that talk about video games almost every week. They have a gaming show that happens daily, and they talked about this game and what they liked about it, and I said, it kind of seems like a game that I would enjoy. And I was absolutely right. I think that this game is really, really good at what it tries to do. It doesn't try too hard to be a AAA game or mask itself as a AAA game. It is purely an indie gem. This was, I don't think it was created by two people, but two people really headed this project in this studio. This is the studio that made Titan Souls as well. And you can absolutely see some of the pulls from Titan Souls into this game, but I absolutely enjoyed this game 100%. Now we'll break it down a little bit into the different categories that I like to talk about when I'm talking about games, like gameplay, story, all that sort of stuff. And I think the best place to start with this game is the ambiance and the design, the graphic design of the game. And once again, I don't have a degree in graphic design, and I don't plan to tell you that, oh, this is great because of this way that they did this in the graphic design. I think that the art style and the design of the levels and everything like that is really, really, really well done. And I understand that this is a kind of roguelike sort of idea, like going to one area, getting something, and then coming back to another area to figure out more about what's going on. But I really, really enjoyed the power-ups that you get, the way that things work, all that sort of stuff. It's a really, really cool game, and they do really cool things with it. And it's just the way that it develops from the first area to the last area, just the complexity of the design, not even using the power-ups you get, but just the way that the levels are designed, more and more complex. They get so much more complex than what you imagine in the beginning of the game. I didn't think it was ever going to get to the complexity that it did, but it's not like unthinkable, like trying to figure stuff out. It actually does a really good job of leading you through it and all that sort of stuff. So I really, really enjoyed it. I enjoyed it a lot. Now, the next logical thing to talk about is the gameplay, because we're talking more about what's in the game, and I think the gameplay itself isn't anything special. It's what you would assume out of like a roguelike sort of style. You have a sword, you can find different weapons, you can use different weapons, yada yada yada. It's nothing extraordinary, it's nothing revolutionary, I guess is the better way to say it, but I think it absolutely does what it intends to do, and it does a really good job with it. I didn't notice that it wasn't like clunky, it wasn't like very hard to move, it was very, very well done. I guess that's the best way to put it. And it was great. I enjoyed every moment that I was slashing through enemies, learning about the new enemies and that sort of stuff. It was very, very good. Now, moving on to the difficulty, since we're still in the gameplay section, there is no difficulty setting in this game. It is just purely you load up the game and you go. That's how it is. And the game isn't hard. Well, it is, but it's also not like extremely hard. It doesn't, I guess the best way to say it is it doesn't like hold your hand through the game, but it also like gives you so many different ways to figure out what to do that it doesn't really need, you don't really need that hand holding. And the bosses, some of the bosses are actually very, very tough. There was a boss near the end of the game that really had a bunch of different things that it was doing, and it was probably one of the hardest bosses of the game, if not the hardest for me, because it just didn't fit the playstyle that I was playing and what I was doing. And that's what you're gonna run into. You can use your little daggers, you could use a sword, you could use a hammer, whatever you want to use, it's completely available for you to use. But there's also drawbacks from using each of them. Like one of them you might swing slower, one of them you might swing faster but deal less damage. So it's that sort of thing that this game plays with a lot, is the idea of what do you get versus what versus like just what is the pros and cons. I guess that's the best way to put it. And I really enjoyed that kind of push and pull that this game went for when we're talking about this sort of thing. And now I think the best way to end this is talking about the story and the music of the game. I'm going to start with the music first. The music in this game is very well done. It sets the atmosphere of this game perfectly. And I normally have issues with some of the way that things are composed in games, because it doesn't, while people might think it fits the design, it doesn't necessarily do it. But this game has, the soundtrack sets the vibe from the very beginning. And they change it, of course, because you go to different areas and stuff like that, but it's not ridiculously like different, but it is at the same time. It fits the vibe of everything that's going on, and I really enjoy that. So that's one of the big things I have to praise this game for, is the way that it uses music, and the way that it uses music to set the scene, to introduce new characters, to do all the sort of different things. And I just really, I keep saying I keep enjoying things, but the music is really cool to listen to, and you'll probably be hearing this over or underneath my voice, but this is just a sample of what the music sounds like in the game, and it's just really good. I would say pick up the game alone for the music. It's not on Game Pass, but it's well worth the money in my opinion. Absolutely. It took me 6 hours to beat this game, and there's still more for me to do, which I'm going to go back and do eventually. So that's just, it's great. I absolutely love it. And the story itself is very, I don't want to say heartwarming, because it's not like, oh, like that sort of heartwarming, but it teaches you a story. It tells you a story that kind of hits you a little bit. Like, it hit me kind of near the end a little bit, what this game was all about, and why is this game called Death's Door, and what caused this all to happen, and why are all these people the way that they are. And it kind of just makes everything come to life at the very end, because when I was listening, when I was playing this game, I wasn't sure where the story was going, and not in a good way. I was like, I love the combat in this game, and there's some weird things that are happening, but like, I don't understand how this is all going to tie together at the end. And it did. It tied it together very well. And I just think that was one of the coolest things about this game, is that it took my expectations, it messed with them a little bit, not in a bad way, but it took them and gave me a story that I wasn't expecting to get, and it just kind of ended up being very good. I absolutely enjoyed it. I thought it was a great game. So that wraps up the review portion of this. Now it's time to talk about our next game. This is a little bit of a preface if you're watching this video on the day it comes out, which would be Wednesday. Usually I try to release stuff on Wednesdays and Sundays, but this next game I'm hoping I'll be able to get done by Sunday, but I think it's very important to get this next review out because it's a newer game, and I know some of you might be trying to figure out how this game works or what's really good. So our next game is going to be...
I know the truth.
I'm not lying.
I just said no more games. If you're forgive everything, all of it.
Things like this just don't get forgiven.
That's it. It is going to be 12 minutes, which is coming out on August 19th. And I'm so excited to sit down and play this game and see where this game is going to go. When I first saw this game at the Xbox panel a few years back, I was very intrigued by what this game has to do, or what is this game going to do? Because I love the idea of repeating things over and over and over again and trying to get a different outcome every time, because it really sets up a good way of storytelling, and I'm so excited to see where this game goes. It also has some great voice acting, like as you saw, like Daisy Ridley and James McAvoy and all that sort of stuff. I am super excited to get into this game and to listen and to play and to experience this game that's coming out, and that should be coming your way on Sunday. I am hoping, I am praying that it does, because I really want to get that out to you and I really want to experience this game. So make sure, if you're interested in that, or if you liked the video, make sure you click the like button and subscribe to the channel. Also, leave a comment down below. I'm always looking for new games to try out and to ramble review on. So if you have a game suggestion in mind, don't be afraid to put it down there. I absolutely try to take a look at every comment that I get, and I will either love it or reply to it or anything like that. So really make sure that you do that if you have a game in mind. And I'm not here to say I'm not going to play any game, but I really would love to hear from all of you and see what you would like to see. But that is going to end my ramble here. I hope you all have a fantastic rest of your day. Don't forget, tell somebody you love them, and I'll see you guys in the next video.